So where do you get the stage 2 information from? So again, you have provings where you find therapeutic information, and I'll come to that in a moment. But you also look at group affinities at stage 2 at a much more deeper level than stage 1. And we'll come to that as well. So first, let's look at how do you get the information from the provings. So again, I've opened up my software in remedy analysis in HomeoQuest, and this is what we have worked on at stage 1. Now in stage 2, I'm going to narrow down the search to at least 3 remedies in the remedy count, where we want rubrics which have at least 3 of these remedies coming up. And now we're going to look at these different affinities that we saw coming up at stage 1. We're going to fine tune and look at specific therapeutic information around that. So say, for example, you have female coming up. Female hormone is a big broad spectrum affinity coming up. What exactly do you find in female hormonal system coming up at stage 2? So if I put in a repertory filter female, I want all the female rubrics coming up here. Let's look at that. So here you see you have ovaries, which is a main sphere of action, and then you see profuse menses. This is one step deeper than understanding just issues around menses, right? Then you have libido increased. Again, a very important piece of information. This is your stage 2 information. So can you see at stage 2, you get more information. You get a bit more of the sensations. You get some sort of, modalities. You get some concomitants, if possible, at a localized level, right? That's the whole idea at stage 2. You're using therapeutic information. So now if you have a patient with profuse menses, or with high libido coming up with issues around ovaries, again, Matridonals at stage 2 at a much more, in a higher potency than 12C might be much more relevant for that patient. Let's look at issues around, say, affections of the breast. Yeah. Look at that. You have pain in the mammae before menses, swelling of the mammae, or issues around in the breast before menses. This is a very important stage 2 information than just knowing that these remedies have a good action on the mammary glands, right? Now, let's look at other issues outside, the female reproductive system. Say we have abdomen. We saw a lot of issues around abdomen. I want to see what exactly aspects coming up with abdomen. And then you see there is distension, especially after eating. So this is an important local modality. We have flatulence and noises and cramping and gripping, but everything is aggravated after eating. This is a very interesting Bonninghausen symptom, right? And matridonals come up very, very strongly in these, so don't just look at them as affinities for the female tract. Look at them as the generalized remedies for other systems as well, which come within the sphere of matridonals. Let's see skin, because skin and hair was an important part, right? So what issues around the skin do we get in these remedies? You have eruptions, itching, redness, and ulcerations. So if you have these types of acne, for example, with menses, with pain in the breasts before your menses, you have some wonderful matridonals coming up here just as therapeutics. So don't overlook them if there is acne because of hormonal issues in young women. Right? So that's coming up. So this is how you build up. This is how you understand what's coming up with the zone of, with the potential of stage 2, using just 30C of these remedies, and you can start, get started with them. There was this aspect about inflammation, right? Let's see what sort of inflammatory processes we have in these remedies. So that's just one important thing. Mucous membrane are inflamed, and you have a lot of matridonals coming up there. So the whole idea is just play around. Just look at what's coming up in these remedies with different words, with different filters, and just understand the extent of what clinical information we have about these remedies based on this grounded information, rather than just looking at one part of, the understanding from themes or from kingdoms. Use and integrate them to get the best at that particular stage, right? This is stage 2 for us. So if I have to summarize this, how do we build up our therapeutic information? You have menses profuse, we have pain in the breast before menses, and then we have skin itching, red, ulcerations, and eruptions. So any form of acne related to hormonal issues, You have your remedies in this group. Then you have inflammation of the nose, especially the mucosa. You have and you have hypersensitivities to different issues. So you have hypersensitivity, allergic conditions with hay fever. That could be your another sphere of action and or another zone where you can look at therapeutically. And then you have abdominal issues. We have digestive issues, distension, painful cramping, noises, flatulence after eating. If that's related to hormonal issues together, or you have food allergies with creating itching, red ulcers. Can you see how you put 1+1 information and then you have the zone that comes up for you as you start understanding what these remedies are capable of doing, right? And that's how you build it up. Or in children, very hypersensitive children who cannot focus, who are, ADHD, autistic spectrum, learning disabilities, and then you have food allergies, and that comes up together as a spectrum. These are your remedies for that. So this is how you build up the Materia Medica information at stage 2 with these remedies. And then you go and look at one single remedy from each. But have a group understanding so you know where your landscape is. And then you start deep diving into details. You go and get the bird's eye view, and then you go into the insect view. Now, how do you get more information at stage 2? And this is now based on kingdom understanding and specific group information. Now remember, when you're using kingdoms, the information that at stage 2 and the information at stage 3 is a bit different. At stage 2, you're using just the broad spectrum kingdom aspect, okay, and some form of group understanding. You're not going into the details of the sub kingdoms, right? So here at stage 2, what's relevant is that these are the remedy sourced from animals with the vertebral column, especially the mammals. Plus, they have a cross of understanding of sarcodes, because sarcodes are these unique remedies made from the healthy healthy tissue. And then, so these are human sarcodes in a way, especially around pregnancy and birth. And then you have the hormones coming up, especially related to female reproductive system. So all this married together to create a unique understanding at stage 2. And what do we have in there? So at stage 2, when you're understanding the mammals, what themes do we see in mammals as a group? You see that they need to belong to a group. They need society. They need to be included. They can feel alone, forsaken, and excluded because they feel safety in numbers. That's mammals for you. And then you have some form of, survival and domination within a group, whether it's fight for who is, in a dominant position. That's something you see in mammals. And within a family system or within a community or within a sort of a group which look out for each other, you can see that fight. That's coming up even at stage 2 within the Matridonals as well. And then you see a strong maternal instinct, love, warmth, nurturing, anxiety about children, anxiety about parents, moms, dads. All this is a part of the maternal, Matridonals. So if you see that at your patient at even an emotional level, you are at that stage. Plus then you have the stage 2 therapeutic. So you have the therapeutic information, and then you are looking at the Matridonals for, say, hormonal acne. And then you see that child is, craving for warmth and nurturing and love and can feel excluded with their friends very easily. There you have it. Matridonals, one of them at stage 2, 30C, and you have done your job. And similarly, you see headaches, headaches coming up before menses, and head is a very important part. Milk creates headaches. So a lot of these are milk remedies, and hence you have headaches coming up, and then issues around, the female tract. So that's Matridonal understanding of your Materia Medica at stage 2. So don't underestimate. Stage 2 is not just about physicals or mentals. It's about stage 2 information of mind and body. Yeah. And then with sarcodes, because they're sarcodes, they'll show some sarcode themes of stage 2. What are the themes of sarcodes at stage 2 based on group understanding? You see these are sarcodes are useful for they're healthy tissues, so they are important for healthy functioning of that particular organ or tissue. And so they have a specific role, a specific task, or a specific function, and they must do it with perfection and control. That's important. And because these are endocrinal most of these are hormones and endocrinal hormones, you can see that they're contained within an organ, they're released, and they go and have an effect on some organ at a different distant level, right? So that form of being contained, being released, or being trapped and blocked and needing to flow and continue the cycle and be biofeedback mechanism, and that form of perfection and control and homeostasis is a very important part of the Sarkor theme at stage 2 as well. So these patients can feel blocked and trapped at that level, and they need to be flowing and in that cycle rhythmic way. That's a very important aspect of their state. So think about it, absorb it. This is stage 2 information. So now let's move on to stage 3.